Here with Trevor Horn.
Yeah.
So, music producer, artist, which multi-talented, which area of the industry means most to you and which do you prefer? Performing still?
No, I mean, I've been the sort of record producer for 30 years. The performing thing is something that I really just started doing again about 10 years ago. But I mean, from when I was 14, I played every night till I was 30 because I was a professional bass player. That's what I did for a living till I was 30, till I got a hit, and then I didn't play or perform for 20 odd years. You know.
What? Why?
Well, the studio was so much more interesting.
Okay.
If you think about it, back then it was the early days of techno, and it was pretty hard to do techno on stage. It's easier now because we have much more efficient in-ear systems and stuff like that. And we're also much more educated to play in time than we were back then. So life's more exciting now. The actual technology of it's got a lot better.
And the progress of technology, how difficult has that been to keep up with, and how much has it helped and made life
but the music
better?
business has always been, to some degree, a hostage to technology. If you think about it, a cathedral was the very first ever reverb unit. Technology's always played a part in music. It's got a bit mental over the past sort of 2 decades, but it's kind of, I mean, we actually play. We don't use backing tracks, but it means I have to have like 10 people. But I still enjoy playing, and I like playing together with people. And I have a young band. Most of them are kids, and they're really enjoying learning songs and playing together.
Do you think there's ever a danger that technology can, in some ways, overtake playing musical instruments?
It did back in sort of 1981, 82, and it's taken us probably 30 years to recover from it. Most of the bands that came up in the 80s weren't very good players. Not the same as, say, the bands in the 60s and the 70s. By the time they made it, they generally played hundreds of gigs, and they knew how to deal with an audience. They came from that background, the Beatles, the Stones, all those sort of bands. So
does that make it harder for someone like Matt Cardle, who's with you tonight, who's come through a different route?
Yeah, Matt Cardle's everybody's the music business is a whole, if you look at it like a business, it's like every time you get a hit record, you start a new business. And that's what's so lunatic about it. It's not like selling shoes, you get a good line of shoes and you'll sell them all your life. In music, it's slightly different.
Yeah.
Matt Cardle is, it's material. That's what Matt Cardle, guys like Matt Cardle are always looking for, really good songs to sing. I mean, that was a pretty big thing for him, winning X Factor. You don't win X Factor unless you've got something going for you.
Yeah, you have to have a good voice to win that.
Oh, you also have to be appealing to people too, because it's a hell of a thing. I mean, to be put through all of that, imagine it.
Yeah, is that something you could have ever imagined yourself
Me,
going on?
I'd never have won X Factor in a million years. I wouldn't even go there. I could sight read music, and I was a professional player. It's a slightly different world, and never go on something like that.
So how much do you enjoy playing festivals like Wickham?
Well, festivals are always nice because it's out in the sunshine, everybody's in a good mood, and it's a good way to get out and see people.
And finally, I gather you just bumped into an old friend from many years ago, Rod Bransgrove, chairman of Hampshire Cricket Club.
Yes, so I hear. He and I used to hang out together many, many years ago, 46 years ago, down in Birchington-on-Sea. Back then he had long hair, and we were both, into rock music. So that's the first time I've seen him in 46 years.
Again, the beauty of festivals, you just bump into people.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.